bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
Corey?
Maddy, I'm in here.
What? Where?
The beyond. I'm in the beyond.
You're sitting in a chair.
My body is there, but my spirit is far away.
You think you can dial down the weird echoing so we can start the podcast?
I don't think I can. Oh. Wait, yeah. I found the button. We're good.
Hi, I'm Maddy.
And I'm Corey.
And this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous.
A show dedicated to any and all things horror and sometimes Halloween.
So this is our second attempt to record the beginning of this episode. Third attempt? Is it our third? After
I don't want to count.
Yeah. We gave up the ghost on Skype, so we're trying something.
And it's working-ish, I guess.
Kind
it
of
is now. It seems to be.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just have wasted a bunch of time for no reason.
Yeah.
But this week we're talking about the first Sinister film, even though Corey apparently watched both of them.
I did. I watched everything. Watched Sinister 1, Sinister 2, Insidious 1, Insidious 2, Insidious 3, Insidious 4.
And do you remember them all in detail?
Oh, God, no. I don't even remember the first two in detail. Are you kidding? I have notes that I don't even remember. But we'll worry about that later.
Okay, let me play a sad note for you.
Okay. Oh.
That's my sad note for Corey.
Yes, you're quite the blues man.
I just got a harmonica. I've been annoying him all night.
It's great. You guys are going to love it.
Well, if you prefer, I could go back to this. Wait, hold on.
I mean, neither of them really annoy me. It just annoyed me when I couldn't actually hear it. I mean, it may annoy me one day, but so far I'm okay.
You're like, if you can't get the full experience of the harmonica, that's what upsets you.
Right, exactly. I need the full shrillness of it. I can't just have a little bit.
Before we launch into the films tonight, though, we've got a few surprises for you. Well, no, one of them's not a surprise. It's horror pack. It's always horror pack. But
Are either of them surprises? Are you talking about Loot Crate?
I am talking about Loot Crate.
I don't know if Loot Crate's a surprise.
Oh.
I guess I did say I canceled it. I mean, it can be a surprise if you want it to be. Surprise, everybody. I got another crap Loot Crate. I'm super excited to tell you about it. Let's do that now.
All right.
All right. I mean, it's not terrible. I got to get a box. Hold on. I don't get it. I don't understand why people buy it. Because it's crap. Yes.
I would assume because they have an addiction to shopping for mystery items. There's a sense of a thrill, an adrenaline rush.
And I like mystery stuff too. Hence I mean, I haven't stopped with the horror pack, even though that's mostly crap. That being said, this isn't so bad. So last time was the aliens thing, and then I finally got the cryptid special extra crap. I didn't get the extra crap on this one because customer service and shipping that out was a nightmare. So I just gave up on that. All right, so let's go through all this nonsense. So it's werewolf themed.
Oh, I like.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I got like this goofy looking Little Red Riding Hood pin that I will lose if I put it on anything. So I'm going to stick it on my wall at work probably so I don't lose it.
Okay.
It came with another thing. It's, I think, a vinyl sticker, like a window sticker.
And how much did you pay for this?
I think this was like 20 or 40 bucks. I don't even know. It's less depressing if I don't know how much I've spent.
Well, nice for like cars.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like, it says An American Werewolf in London on it. It is a full moon, and it says Beware the Moon, but it looks like it has nothing to do with It's got none of the heart and none of the feeling of American Werewolf in London. It's just a sticker. Oh, I love that movie. Okay, but
effective medium for communicating darkness of cinema.
Right, exactly. Or the darkness of this movie. I mean, even though it is comedy, it is funny as well. It doesn't, yeah, it's just stupid cash grab stuff. And I should not expect anything else. On a similar note, I did get an American Werewolf in London t-shirt, which is pretty dope. It's got, yeah, and it actually looks like the werewolf from the movie, like Howling at the Moon. There's 3 different pictures of him screaming and howling and growling. It says American Werewolf on it. It's cool. I like it. I'll wear it. I also like this. I'm saving the thing I don't understand for last.
Okay.
I also like this little thing. It's a silver bullet. No actual caliber. It's just a big bullet. And it's got like, can you hear this?
I can, yeah.
That's the liquid inside that you're supposed to freeze to put it into whiskey. I will never use this because I like my whiskey like it's meant to be, room temperature.
Oh, wow, you're one of those people.
Well, bourbon. I'll drink scotch chilled, but bourbon has to be room temperature. But I mean, it's a cool little bullet to have sitting around. I'm sure I'll have it sitting around somewhere inappropriate and go to jail for it or something.
Well, you can chill something else in it, right? Put in your
I don't know. I think maybe it only works with whiskey.
It only makes your whiskey cold?
Yeah, I think otherwise werewolves attack you. Oh. It said it's for whiskey. Like, I don't think I should try it with like water or Kool-Aid. All right, finally, this is not a werewolf thing. This is Alex Pardee's Monster Season. I guess that he's done a bunch of these. This is sort of a vinyl figure a la those big-headed dumb things that everybody buys.
Oh, Funko Pops?
Yeah. This is like sort of a Funko Pop ripoff, only it's some creepy rabbit beast. I don't know, I just don't understand, like, yeah, maybe it's a were-rabbit. There's this whole big blurb on the back of the box. I can read it, but it's long.
But, yeah, add some flair.
I don't know if I have any flair for this.
Read it like Roger Ebert would.
That'll take forever if I do that. Like, this is like 2 big paragraphs. This is like 2 movie synopsises, maybe almost 3.
Okay, what about Vincent Price?
I'm just going to try to read it and see what happens.
Okay. let the inspiration carry you.
It's like a short story. William Harrison was a psychopath. For 6 years, he had been on every most wanted list known to man, mainly due to his penchant for sharp objects, his mastery in the dark arts, and his bizarre love of a certain kind of cuisine. I bet they're talking about cannibalism, Maddy.
Oh, I was thinking like spaghetti and meatballs.
It might be that too. William managed to escape the law for years by doing something simple but terrifying. He got a job being in disguise. During Christmas, he was a mall Santa. During tax season, he was the Statue of Liberty. But it was his... Oh, here, great. And there's a typo on the box. Quality merch. I'm going to read it just like it is. But it was his during his favorite season, Easter, that William's life would change.
He's already a cannibal and a murderer, so...
Allegedly. 3 days after William started his job as the mall Easter Bunny, the shopping center got surrounded by authorities. Did a 2-year-old write this? Apparently, William had been getting lazy with hiding his, quote, food. However... Right, spaghetti and meatballs. However, William was good at hiding. And when his life was on the line, he decided he needed to finally hide permanently. With the police closing in, William called upon an ancient spell that he had learned from a Romanian wizard. It was a spirit transferring spell, but with almost nothing left to transfer his spirit into, he grabbed the only available object, a plush Easter Bunny toy. When the police finally arrived, all they found was William Harrison hunched over, dead inside his furry Easter Bunny suit. Assuming he had killed himself, they never even bothered combing the area for clues.
This is an Easter edition of Child's Play?
Yeah, pretty much. That was the death of William Harrison, but the birth of Billy Hare. When the coast was clear, Billy and his new lavender plush body just waltzed right out of there, making sure to stop by the knife store on the way out. All right, so if he's a plush murdering bunny, why do I have a heavy-ass vinyl figure of this moron? Why didn't they just... I guess it's a ripoff of like Roman Dirge, his work. Like it looks very Roman Dirges.
Mhm.
It looks like everything any like high school goth kid would draw after reading Johnny the Homicidal Maniac or Lenore.
Yeah, kind of like reminiscent of those Living Dead dolls that were popular for a while in their little cardboard coffins.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's definitely more like I mean, I'll send you a picture of this stupid thing.
You're very mad about this, Bunny.
I'm mad about Loot Crate. The bunny's just getting the brunt of it right now. Well, that's a terrible
All I did
picture.
was eat spaghetti and meatballs.
I know. How dare I be such a jerk about a bunny?
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it on a shelf and never think about it for the rest of my life. But obviously, Loot Crate was like, oh, we don't have enough. People are going to stop giving us money if we don't put something else in there. Throw that stupid Easter Bunny figure in there. It'll make all those neckbeards happy. I'll put it on a shelf next to all their Star Wars action figures.
Well, let's talk about what you watched this, or a movie you'd recommend for listeners besides the ones we're reviewing this week, just to take your awful Loot Crate.
All right, now Horror Pack. Horror Pack sucks too this month, but it's okay. I mean, it always sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I never watch them anyways, even when they don't suck. So I'm gonna go like no order whatsoever here. First up is Resident Evil Degeneration.
Okay, when is that? Is that like 4, 5?
No, that is one of the animated movies. With almost nonstop action and plenty of crazy moments, Degeneration puts on a classic Resident Evil show. Oh, I have seen some of this. I don't remember liking it though. A zombie attack brings chaos to Harvardville Airport. Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield, who fought the Sinister Umbrella Corporation during the Raccoon City tragedy 7 years ago, are back in high-octane Resident Evil style. Resident Evil is the opposite of high-octane.
Yeah,
it's survival. At least the original couple. It was just about being scared and like running around.
Oh, maybe they're just referring to the shooting part.
Maybe. But even in the original games, like the shooting part was really like calculated and slow. It wasn't until I think 4 where like they really tried to add the action. And then they went full on action for a couple. And then with 7, they went back to like chill survival horror. They're ready to battle a rogue warrior who is seeking revenge after his family was killed in Raccoon City. The deadly G virus, not the T virus, is unleashed, and a new mutated monster goes on the rampage. Will Claire and Leon be able to terminate the virus before history repeats itself? Who cares?
I don't think I'd stay in Raccoon City. This stuff just keeps happening.
Well, they're not in Raccoon. They're in Harvardville. Yeah, I remember watching that a million years ago, but I don't remember anything except for like zombies in an airport or something. And even then, that might not even happen in this. I might be remembering airport zombies from one of the hundreds of other movies with airports and zombies in it. I don't know.
Just about as many zombie movies as shark movies at this point.
Next movie is, Maddy, would you like to witness the birth of a horror legend?
I'm afraid of what that entails.
Well, if you want to watch Trick from the director of My Bloody Valentine, apparently there's a birth of a horror legend in here.
Ah, okay.
And it also wants us to always choose treat rather than trick.
Ah, that's good advice. That's good advice.
Oh, this has that guy we like in it.
Oh, Bill Sadler?
No, Jamie Kennedy.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Tom Atkins is in this.
Oh, Tom Atkins. Okay. That's better.
Yeah.
Well, he's in My Bloody Valentine. He has a cameo.
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen that.
Yeah. It's
all right. On Halloween night in 2015, Patrick Trick Weaver massacred his classmates at a costume party. After being arrested, he managed to escape police custody, but not before being shot 5 times by Detective Mike Denver. The name's Denver. Mac Denver. Everyone believes Trick must be dead.
Canada.
But when a masked killer reappears the following Halloween and every Halloween after that, they realize the nightmare is not over. With Trick wreaking havoc and killing people in increasingly terrifying ways, Denver will stop at nothing to finish what he started and bring the carnage to an end. So this is Halloween. Yeah. It's pretty much Halloween.
Halloween, kind of vaguely My Bloody Valentine, too.
All right. I don't even know if I have to read the back of this, but they sent me The Last Exorcism Part 2.
There's a part 2?
I guess. You know what? I will read the back because I'm pretty sure I saw this, but I don't remember it at all. According to Mark Olson from the Los Angeles Times, The Last Exorcism Part 2 is an effectively unnerving supernatural horror. Nell Sweetser, played by Ashley Bell, whoever that is back in the relative safety of civilization and sent to live in a group home where she's encouraged to leave her past behind and start a new life. Just as Nell settles in, she is tormented by the seductive, demonic presence that once possessed her. She realizes that the evil force is back with unimaginative... Why can't I say that word?
I don't know. You have issues.
Unimaginably.
Yeah.
She realizes that the evil force is back with unimaginably horrific plans, which could only mean that her last exorcism was just the beginning. They should have called this the last exorcism.
Yeah, seriously. It's not the last if you have another one coming.
The other last exorcism. And they should retroactively...
exorcism, as in, the last, the pre...
Right. Or they can retroactively rename the last exorcism the second to last exorcism. Unless there's a third, then that would have to be the third to last exorcism.
I still know when your next exorcism is.
There you go. That's perfect. So I think I've seen this too, but I have no memory of it. I just feel like I remember the girl from the first one being in a mental institution.
You do compulsively watch terrible sequels.
Yeah, I know. So I'm pretty sure I've seen this, but I had to delete the hard drive to make room for some other piece of stupid trivia.
Well, you know what other movies had terrible that we're not talking about today?
I still have one more.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Then I'll save it.
I saved the best for last, Maddy. This is the Horror Pack Limited Edition Blu-ray.
Oh, yay.
And there's butts on the cover.
Oh my God. Is it Rectuma?
It looks like there's a butt. No, it looks like there's a butt, like sort of like half leaning on like a pitchfork. Huh. I don't know. It's called Muck. I actually thought it was called Musk until just now. It was called Muck.
Muck is slightly less upsetting.
This one actually, I read the back of this the other day, and it actually interests me a little bit. This throwback horror film just raised the hacked up bar. Horror legend Kane Hodder and Playboy Playmate of the Year 2012, Jacqueline Swedberg, star in this scary, sexy indie shocker that joins a group of friends as they emerge from the thick, murky darkness of the marshes, tattered, bloody, and lucky to be alive. But they soon will find out that the lucky ones are already dead. Muck is packed with old school gore effects and brutal stunts without any CGI or apologies. Lachlan Buchanan from Pretty Little Liars co-stars in writer-director Steve Walsh's searing directorial debut that unfolds like a blood-stained love letter to horror fanatics everywhere.
So when a film specifies that there's no CGI and it's using a lot of fake blood.
Yeah, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like the Hatchet movies so much. Well, the first two. Victor Crowley was okay too. Oh, I bet the reason that lady's got a pitchfork on her butt is probably because he kills people with a pitchfork. Or he kills people with butts. Or he only kills people who have butts and uses a pitchfork to kill them. So which means he kills everyone with a pitchfork. Man, I should write summaries. That's a good summary. Just give me the picture and I'll write a summary of it.
Corey, I don't think we can work with you anymore. It's just are very butt-centric.
The English patient. How do you use butts to describe that, Corey? Maybe I was wrong. I can't talk about butts. I'm very disappointed in myself. All right, Horror Pack's done. Great work, everybody.
That's a wrap. You're gonna have to come up with a way to describe Sinister now.
This guy with a butt finds a bunch of tapes of other people with butts hanging from trees, and he's got to solve the mystery of the murders butt.
People's butt.
I didn't want to
Yes,
be
he has to figure out a way to solve the butt murders. That just sounds dirty now.
Story a good one this time?
It really does.
Butt murder. There's got to be a band called Butt Murder.
Poor family, they have all got butts.
They have butts that a murderer wants.
You gotta be kidding me. Family hanging out.
This might be the dumbest thing we've ever done. Maddie, what do you think's in that box?
That's the family.
Bunch of films of butts.
You think these are serial murders? I don't know. First one I found dates back to the 60s.
Always mature with our show, guys.
It's true.
The only link between
God,
all
what a
these cases
dick he is in this, man. Ethan Hawke is
Symbol
such a
associated
dick.
with a pagan deity named
Oh, that actually made me jump just now,
consumed
as well as when I
souls of
watched it the other
children.
day.
There's some great jump moments.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been onto something this big.
That moment, when you see him in the water.
Early Christians believed that Bagul actually lived in the image.
He's
of
very
themselves,
like
and
every
they were
time you see
gateways
him in the
into his realm.
beginning of all this, like he's very unsettling. Like they did a really good job with that.
Children
Yeah.
exposed to the images were especially vulnerable to Bagul's abduction.
Sweetheart, what are you doing?
Painting. I wanted to paint her picture.
Who are you talking about?
Stephanie. She used to live here.
Oh, that.
That was creepy too. How do you think that cardboard held him up though? Like that shit would have collapsed and just dropped that kid on his head.
What's the matter? What's happened?
Get the kids. Pack the car. We have to leave here now.
I'm not really fond though when trailers just reveal the final shot. You know?
No, I agree.
Corey's spicy.
I will interject if necessary. If I don't feel the right amount of butt is being mentioned in Maddie's description, I will rectify that situation. Rectify, get it? Boom. Go ahead. I promise I won't ruin your...
A crime novelist going through a midlife crisis moves his family into a murdered family's home for some good grassroots inspiration. Then he gets sidetracked when he finds some questionable home movies and his son climbs into a box.
And that's Sinister.
Oh, you're not wrong.
So this was written and directed by Scott Derrickson and co-written by C. Robert Cargill, who is not only an excellent screenwriter, but he does a podcast I would highly recommend to anyone who just enjoys a good, entertaining, intelligent film podcast.
I was going to say, I absolutely do not enjoy intelligent podcasts.
Junk Food Cinema. But you know, as an aside, I would definitely recommend checking that out.
Oh, he's the dude from Junk Food. You said that the other day. I forgot.
Yeah. They did an episode recently on your favorite film. Dylan.
Yeah, they did it wrong though.
Oh, did they?
Probably not, but they look at that movie different than I do, and I'm not okay with that.
Have you listened to it yet?
I listened to it twice.
Oh. But
Well, I fell asleep through like a half hour of the middle bits of one.
Well, yeah, but when something is your favorite film and you've watched it a million times, you analyze it in ways other people don't, and you maybe sometimes go too deep in one interpretation of it.
No, actually, they went way deeper than I did. I think, honestly, I think my issue with it is they came up with a very simple thing, and they're probably right about it, that I have never considered in the, 25 years I've been watching this movie almost yearly at minimum. And I think I'm just a little embarrassed myself that I never thought of it. But I digress. This isn't a Cemetery Man podcast today. I'm so sorry.
We will eventually get back to that, though.
Someday.
So the director of this film also did The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Is that the one? Is The Exorcism of Emily Rose the one with the girl who looks like a pretty alien?
I don't remember, but the actress herself did actually flip backwards and do all kinds of contortionist.
Is it the girl from Dexter? Oh, okay.
Again, I haven't seen it since it came out. I want to say, yeah, it is her.
Okay, I think it is too. I remember liking it.
But just judging by that film and Sinister, I think Derrickson has a wonderful way of creating atmosphere and tension in his films.
And writing really dickish protagonists.
Oh yeah, I was really afraid you were going to go back to butts, and I was going to be like, no, that bit's over.
Nope, I promised you that this part would be butt free.
Yeah, the main guy is definitely I mean, it's a Pandora's box scenario, you know. It reminds me of a short story I read about a babysitter who was snooping through, found a guy's manuscript. While she was eating their food, she was reading the story about a babysitter who was snooping, and when she opened a cabinet to look inside, a guillotine beheaded her. And the babysitter didn't take a hint from the story and put the manuscript aside to open a cabinet, and it's just sort of like they know what's coming in a way, and they're in denial.
He took his whole family, including his kid that suffers night terrors, to a murder house.
Yeah.
Hid it from them, and there's absolutely no way you can hide that from somebody. It wasn't a big town, you know what I mean?
Of course, he's nowhere near as big of a dick as Mika was in Paranormal Activity. Mika was a little worse.
Oh, it's been a long time. I just remember that name.
Every time shit would go down, he'd be like, okay, time for a Ouija board. Time to do this.
Oh, I need to. I never finished all those. I have to go back to them eventually.
Back to Sinister, though. It was partially inspired by Lynch's Lost Highway, the elements of like Super 8 snuff films and the Mystery Man and Guy with a Camera. But it was even more influenced by The Ring. C. Robert Cargill had a nightmare after he depicted a family being hanged, and that led to Sinister.
That's interesting. That's kind of like, I can totally see the progression there. Like, The Ring really opened horror back up. Like, we owe Japan a whole lot. Yeah,
because it's so hard to take a genre and reinvent how you approach it. And I think The Ring will into newer ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it started to push things away from jump scares into more like disturbing imagery and stuff. Like, I can still see the contorted faces of the people that got scared to death in that movie. And this Insidious and Sinister and The Conjuring, like all that stuff, like the imagery you see in those, it's just a direct descendant of stuff like The Ring.
It just builds dread.
Right. You know, I'm sure if I wanted to, I could probably look further back, like, and see where, like, you know, I bet there's more Japanese work before The Ring. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like all this stuff to me is pretty much a descendant of all that good Japanese horror from back in the day.
Well, like if you go back far enough, you look at stuff like Kuroniko, which it's pretty atmospheric.
Not sure if I've ever seen that.
It's a good film, but back to Sinister. There was a study done called the Science of Scare Project, and they picked 5 movies that at the time were considered the 5 scariest movies made, and their heart rates were monitored. Sinister was rated as the scariest based on heart monitor rates, and oddly enough, Insidious was the second.
Maybe, but I'm not surprised that Sinister and Insidious would make it on those scary movie lists, because they definitely make me feel uneasy. And there's jump scares that are actually effective on me as well, which isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. I'm kind of a little bitch sometimes. But
that is true. Would
yeah,
agree on that. I don't know. I didn't find Insidious particularly. It didn't get to me. I thought part 2 had better moments of dread than part 1. But.
Not even the logo. We'll come back to Insidious.
Yeah. We'll come back to that.
I do think the best haunted house stories revolve around not just houses, but the families in them. Because you have an easy framework to make the characters more sympathetic, you're always going to care about the kids in a story as opposed to the teenagers just trapped in a haunted house.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, no, I agree with you. You're right. I'm not even going to try to argue that. I love it when kids die in movies. It's my favorite thing. So when they don't die in movies, I kind of hate them.
Yeah, you felt like you'd just been like teased in Pet Sematary. You talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you wanted more than just a shoe.
I did. Gage's face needed to be splattered all over that truck. No, that's not true. I feel terrible about that now.
Just the cutest baby on the planet.
Oh, Gage. Little stupid ass shoe rolling down the... Okay, yeah, the shoe bothers me. You're right.
I don't think Ellison would have been pulled as deeply into exploring if he wasn't so rabidly obsessed with his dream of recapturing the magic that made him famous with his last book. I died in the first place. Well, maybe they wouldn't have moved into this house, but it's like he couldn't develop relationships with people. Concrete.
Well, that's what kind of makes me mad about this whole thing is like he wants to go back and capture his previous glory. He wants to be like a best-selling author again, blah, 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 blah. So he moves his family into the murder house, even though his family's going to hate it and it's going to mess up his kid. But even when things start getting weird, he just keeps going down that pathway. And I get it. I understand obsession. I do. I would probably do something similar, but that's why I'm not a dad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have kids because I know I would put them in danger eventually doing something stupid. So I take myself out of the equation.
Mm-hmm. But like, if he had been more personable, just anyone, like, they pretty much made it obvious that nobody in any town they've lived in liked him. Even his fan in the story, the deputy so-and-so who wanted to help him out, such a nice guy. He was only polite to him in a very distant, I need you to do this for me, fake nice way.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't be a person's.
Oh, that poor dude. That dude's in the sequel. He's one of the main characters in the sequel. And like, he really, really liked Ethan Hawke's character. And Ethan Hawke's character was just such a jerk. Mm-hmm. Just such an opportunist. And again, I get it. Like, I understand why. He's obsessed with this case. He's obsessed he wants to be famous again. He wants that money. But like, I don't know.
These sorts of stories have those moments where it's not too late to stop. It's not too late to turn back. I think his moment was when he fell through the floor and when he looked back at the video recording and saw those hands. If he had stopped there, I don't know. I think maybe things might have turned out differently.
I don't know. I don't know that there's any way to stop what's going to happen once he moved into that house and found the tapes. I think that was it.
Well, what if they never moved out of the house because of the house?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of loophole. Because I can't imagine everybody moves all the time. Like, who could afford that? All right, if you bought a house right now, in a month, would you be able to go buy another house?
Well, they didn't buy another house. They held their old one.
Oh, that's right. They didn't sell it yet. I forgot about that. So that's where the end takes place then, in their own house.
Yeah, the original.
Oh, okay.
But I do wonder, like, what if they had just been staying at Bugul's house? Like, would it have still gotten to them? Because that wouldn't have been them moving. That would have been them just visiting them.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a Bagul loophole. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any way Bagul's just going to, like, chill out with his, like, 10 demon kids. Yeah, there's got to be a loophole. Yeah. I mean, I will say that they don't elaborate on... There are no loopholes in the sequel. The sequel is sort of the same idea. Mm-hmm. Except they bring the whole, like... one kid's evil, one kid's not nonsense. And like, there's this whole like recruitment crap with all the demon kids.
Well, I hate that because then it ruins the idea that the kids have been possessed and taken over. The little girl wasn't evil before she killed her family. Yeah,
it felt less. And you're right. That's the problem with delving into stuff like this. Like it felt like in this, it felt more like corruption than possession for sure. And I think that they sort of hinted more that it was corruption, but it doesn't make sense for the little girl in the end of the first one to do what she did unless she's possessed.
I think she was possessed.
Yeah, so the whole idea of the sequel, I think she was too. I totally agree with you. But the whole idea with the sequel is like, you've got all these demon kids, they pick a new kid, and they show him one by one all their films, all their murder films, all their snuff films. Mm-hmm. And then once he finishes the last of the kids' snuff films, he becomes the corrupted one or possessed one or whatever. Mm-hmm. So in this, there's this whole deal with it's happening to one kid, but the brother knows about it and he can see the ghost or the demon kids as well. But he wants, because he's already evil, he wants to be the kid they pick, but they're trying to pick the other kid. except they're not trying to pick the other kid. They're really trying to pick the evil kid, but for some reason they're just messing with the not evil kid. And it's
So kinda
dumb.
like Frailty. Ah.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, see, I did a little sting there as if you'd get that. I just made Ryan watch Frailty and he hated it. So.
Oh, I haven't seen Frailty since I was a kid, but I definitely didn't hate it.
Oh yeah, it was just the end.
I have a feeling it's probably not as mind-blowing to me now as it once was.
Oh, yeah, I mean, movies become dated and stuff, but I think it's still me.
Sinister 2 also did that stupid thing where, like, at the end, they just, like, kill off the evil kid and nobody really cares. So, like, I mean, the whole thing about it's the kid's mom and the kid's brother. And, I mean, they're sad, but, like, they're not nearly as effective as watching your little brother get, like, I can't remember if he was, like, dragged into the ether or what happened to him. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that. Did you want to say anything else about Sinister?
No, I just think it's a movie that people need to watch. It was definitely worth, like, it was picking this week, I guess.
I agree. The first one is great. The second one, like, definitely, unless you're insane like I am, don't bother with it. And there was apparently supposed to be a third one as well. I can't remember what happened, but they decided not to make it.
I would say one last thing I have to say about it is that even though Ethan Hawke, his character was a dick, I don't know if it's because he was Ethan Hawke or it's just good writing. I didn't think he was 100% without redemption, and I can't make the right choices, you know?
Yeah, and he just never did.
That's what I want in a horror film. Even if it's kind of lead towards a bleak path, I want to care about the assholes in it.
I agree, and I want people to make the right choice. I think that possibly might have to do with the fact that we're so used to, like, people not making the right choice and the plots being so dependent on, like, people doing dumb shit, you know?
Yeah. Now, Insidious is actually an entirely different type of father. He's one who wants to just complete all of this until he can't.
Right. And I mean, I think he's a little... Well, he's a lot better than Ethan Hawke's character. Like, it's not his fault that he wants to forget and he wants to ignore all this stuff, you know. But I gotta share screen, or I gotta watch stream again. Sorry. Oh, that ladder thing just reminded me of something sort of cool that happens.
Sweetie?
Morning, guys.
That voice was horrifying.
The voice upstairs?
The voice that comes out of the baby monitor.
Oh, I love those two guys. They were great.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, if you like them, they're in every single one.
Open into Dalton's room.
Insidious is Insidious is Insidious.
The dubbing over her when she was younger, the dubbing over that actress was really obvious and really
wiring, alarm clocks.
I think that they kept doing that too. Like, I think that happens again in. Does it happen again? In the last one, it has her as a little kid, but I think in the third one it goes back to that weird dubbed thing they did in 2. Maybe not though, I forget. Anyway, we'll get to that. So I watched every single Insidious movie for this. I only needed to watch one.
Always thorough and half-assing it at the same time.
Exactly. That's I am thorough at my half-assery. So I had to watch the first one for the show. But you can't watch the first one and like it without watching the second one, because the end of the first one is super dumb.
Yes.
Because 1 and 2 are basically one big movie. So it's super dumb unless you watch 2 right after.
Yeah, I was legit like ticked off after I finished the first one.
Yeah, I should have given you a heads up on that because I forgot about it. Like, I think I saw Insidious in theaters and I loved everything about it until the end of it. And then when I found out a sequel was going to get made, I'm like, okay, this might fix it. And it did. And then 3 and 4 happen, which are both prequels, so they can keep that lady. And it's all about that lady, which is fine. You know, I'm okay with it. It's just they're not good movies. But maybe we'll touch on that in a little bit if there's time. Did you catch all the Ed and Lorraine Warren references that were all over the place?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like one of the the grandmother's name was Lorraine or something.
No,
The dog's name was Warren or something.
So those two, do you think they actually had any gifts, or do you think they were just con artists?
Oh, that is elaborated on in 3.
Oh, okay.
They're I think it's 3. They're not actually con artists. Or are they? I forget. See, I didn't retain any of this because it's not great. I can't remember if they were faking stuff or not. I think they were pulling like a little bit of a grift, and it didn't get real until they met her. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember for sure. I wish I did, though. Anyway, all right. So Insidious, a little kid can astral project. He gets lost in the Further, which is like a world between this and the dead people's world where ghosts hang out. This weird fire face ghost wants to take over the kid's body, and hijinks ensue. Dun, 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 dun.
Where are you?
So this movie actually freaks me out. Like,
it's got some disturbing moments.
Mm-hmm. The weirdest thing that freaks me out in this movie is, and it happens in 2 and 3, but it does not happen in 4. The title, when the burning Insidious comes up with that like violin music, maybe this is how it's registering in my head. Just that really shrill music and the burning of the sort of like, it sort of has like an Italian feel to it. The way it's, the way it comes up, it's just so sudden, and it freaks me out every time. I occasionally have a weird thing with title sequences, though, so it's not really surprising that it scares me. Like some old cable sign off and sign on sequences freaked me out when I was a kid. Very strange, but I'm not the only one. There was a documentary about it.
Oh, when I was a kid, the opening to Outer Limits always freaked me out. I thought that they really had gotten control of the television.
Yeah, that was scary. The special feature logo with the really heavy drums and stuff, that used to freak me out. I think that's what it was. I'll have to look it up sometime and show you. So yeah, the kid can astral project. He's lost. There's this fire-faced demon that wants to get in his body, and there's this lady that is a ghost as well, and she's after the kid. We think she's after the kid, but she's not really after the kid. Twist, she's after the dad, because the dad went through all this stuff when he was a kid, but the psychic that is totally not Lorraine Warren, because that's not her name, and her 2 little 20-something ghost hunter friends, no, they weren't. He wasn't there yet because they're young. So the lady, the psychic lady, and I guess his mom, like, and some other people that we don't maybe meet until the 3rd one, I forget, erase the dude's mind.
They put a block in his mind.
Like a magic block?
No, they just a psychological block. Like
it's magic, Maddie. It's got to be magic.
Memories. That's what they do.
You can't just repress somebody's memories.
You can if you're a psychic lady.
Fair enough. So yeah, they did that. And that's why I think he's like denying everything and such a skeptic the whole thing, because they have that block there. I think that's why he acts the way he does, which is why I like him better as a protagonist than I do Ethan Hawke, because he's not a dick. I mean, he is a dick, but it's not really his fault. I just think he's written a little bit better.
Well, and he's more selfless.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah, he very much is. Maybe better isn't the way. I think Ethan Hawke was written the way he was supposed to be written, and he was written well. I just didn't like him.
He was the perfect target. He was the exact sort of person Boogle would go for.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we were supposed to like him. I think he was supposed to be like kind of a like, oh, I don't care if he dies, which would make his entire family getting slaughtered at the end worse.
I would hope that the first film I saw would be like, well, taking this to the police, but...
Yeah, that's kind of what I would probably do. Yeah. Well, no, I'd probably watch everything first and then take it, but I'd take it that day. I would just watch all that stuff first. So I'd probably die in like...
Dying, I'd be like, no.
But I also wouldn't put myself in that situation because I wouldn't take my family and move into a murder house.
Well, I don't know.
Only because I don't have a family. I would totally take my family and move into a murder house.
I also wouldn't dig through what were someone else's home movies.
I would do that. I think I have done that. I've definitely dug through people's abandoned houses.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I found this one house once, had an entire room of stuffed animals. Horrifying.
You know, our old house in Cibolo, before we moved in when I was a kid, the family that had lived there, the wife was obsessed with teddy bears. And even years afterwards, I'd open up a cupboard and find like a little tiny cardboard box that had to have been for like a tiny teddy bear.
Interesting.
Mom told me it had been creepy, but I never saw the teddy bears.
That would be very creepy. All right, so Insidious, like I really, really like Insidious. I think it's a good movie. I like 2 as well. Obviously, I've said that. But what's really, really strange about it is it's very much a serious, dramatic horror movie for the first half of the movie until they randomly introduce the like ghost hunting comedy duo. Like out of nowhere, the movie just becomes sort of funny. And I think it works really. Yeah, and I think it works really well because it gives you kind of a respite from all the like terrifying stuff that happens before, and then it's sort of like the rest of the terrifying stuff and the horrible stuff that happens later completely takes you off guard. Mm-hmm. At least that's how it worked for me. So I think every time I've watched this movie, I'm like, oh God, it's those guys again, and then I remember why they're there, and I chill out a little bit. You know what I mean?
I liked them. I just didn't know why they were in that field. They weren't very capable.
Like the tech dude was pretty good with the tech.
Yeah, but
like he made all that stuff. They go into more detail about that later too. Like he makes all of his own gear. The other guy is useless, and they kind of joke about that too in the other movies.
I did like the realm of the, what was it called? Not the Beyond, the
Further.
Further.
Yeah, I was really hoping, and I remembered too, like I remembered there being more Further in 2. And there was more, but I like for some reason I had thought like most of the movie it was like it was like Lord of the Rings level weird fantasy horror quest in the Further, but I didn't get that. But like I do love what we got of it. I think we got more interesting bits of the Further in the first one, but we got more and like creepier stuff in the second one.
Now, this would be a spoiler heavy question, but your opinion. Okay. So in the end, when the dad was, or in the second film, when the dad was being possessed, was he being possessed by the old man, or was he being possessed by the old man's mother, taking on the persona of the old man, talking to herself as if she was her own mother?
No, he was being, this also comes up later on in the other movies too. It was definitely the dude dressed up as his mother or grandmother or whatever.
But he was able to get help from the old man's younger self?
Wait, maybe I'm misunderstanding your question.
Well, when they were trying to go into the mother's memories, right? They sought help from the old man as a child. So was it why did he help him if he was still trying to hold on to the dad's body?
Oh, because of timey-wimey nonsense. They do a whole, but they even flip back to the first movie in the fourth movie.
So they were actually speaking to his living self as a child.
Yes, yeah. There's actual like apparently all the travelers, all the astral projectors kind of live outside of time as well. So you've got the dad going back and talking to his childhood self at one point. You've got the chick who's definitely not Lorraine Warren, the psychic, bouncing all around in all these movies. She's just time traveling left and right in the Further.
Well, that kind of makes it even sadder what he became because he had helped them as a child.
It really does. It does, yeah.
Oh, and the transformation of his character in part 2 was pretty cool. Like that gradual, like decaying almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was cool. I actually can't remember how 2 ended now. Well, I remember they go to that house with Ghost Lady Warren.
They decide to have both of their memories blocked.
That's right. They sit down and do the memory blocking thing. All right, I remember now.
Which, to be fair, like, I wouldn't want to go back there either. I wouldn't want to risk going back there in my sleep. Or being open to it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like I'd be more interested in finding a way to, like, master that talent than I would be.
Yeah, but that wasn't this kind of person. A normal, like, 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, which again is why I don't have a family. Because I would totally be okay with losing myself into astral projection or running around in the spirit world forever.
Well, Corey, I'll use it for that.
That's true. I'm never doing hallucinogenics again. All right, I'm going to go through a couple of my notes here because they don't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
I actually don't have that many notes. So I have a note here that says Coolio song lyrics bit.
Oh, some Coolio style lyrics?
No. I think that the two ghost hunter guys, I think there's some sort of Coolio joke there that I can't remember.
Okay. Well, that was very funny, Corey.
And I tried to, thanks, I appreciate the condescension. And I tried to go back, or was that patronization? Either way, you're right. I failed you. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay.
I tried, like, I didn't, like last week, I didn't want to go back and like look for it in the movie. So I spent some time searching online to try to find it, but there's nothing nothing comes up when you put Coolio Insidious, nothing helpful. So my plan was to go back and watch at least the second half of Insidious again, but I didn't have any interest in doing that.
Okay.
That's my great excuse. He's still doing stuff. Like I know I've seen him like floating around stuff in the last couple of years. I don't remember what though. 1 and 2 are great, and then we get into 3 and 4. I think that for some reason they decided to focus on completely the wrong thing in these movies. Instead of focusing on the cool stuff they have, like Fireface Demons and The Further and all this stuff, they decide to focus on it's a prequel. And they decide to focus on the two ghost hunters in their early life. And like the third movie is about them meeting her.
Well, that's something that franchises tend to do a lot, is they go off maybe in the wrong path for a couple movies.
Yeah, I don't know. They're still planning on making a 5th one. So maybe they'll like rein it back in. I don't know. But 3 was all about how those 3 met. And then 4 was all about like sort of closing a chapter on the psychic who's totally not Lorraine Warren. It's sort of about closing a chapter on her character progression, if that makes sense. Like it's about like her going back to her childhood home and dealing with horrible crap and like her dad and mom and serial killers and stuff like that. It's not good. I don't recommend it, but it's out there if you want to ruin your life for a couple days.
So would you recommend just stopping at 2?
Unless you're like me, yes, I would stop at 2 for sure. Like 1 and 2 are that should have just been an extended cut of the same movie. Like that should just be one whole movie.
Yeah. I would not recommend stopping at 1, even if the ending, that's all the more reason to immediately start.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like I think you have to watch. This is one of those rare cases where you have to watch 1 and 2 to really enjoy and get everything you can out of it.
Yeah. I would say the same about the 4 and Day Watch and Night Watch. Those 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. You've got to watch Day Watch and Night Watch.
Yeah. So overall, I was pleasantly surprised that I really enjoyed both of our options this week.
Yeah, me too. We managed to pick. Like, there's not a whole lot of modern horror I like. Like I hate the whole PG-13 like nonsense that was coming out for a long time. Yeah. But Sinister and Insidious and some of the Conjuring movies, and there's some other stuff sprinkled here and there that like they're throwback enough to interest me, and they do a whole lot of like new things to sort of pull me in as well. You know, So yeah, and the Sinister and Insidious are both movies that did that, and they definitely made me feel stuff I didn't think movies could make me feel as much as these did. So yeah, I'd recommend everything except for Sinister 2 and Insidious 3 and 4.
So yeah, you'd recommend 3 of them.
Yeah.
And, Sinister, Insidious, and 2. And so would I. I've
Right.
seen the other.
Although there is a really cool I keep calling it Insidious 4. It's actually Insidious: The Last Key.
Ooh.
There is a really, really cool monster like in it. It's this crazy, like skinny, tall demon thing with sharp razor keys for hands.
Mhm.
Like if you get a chance, look it up. It's some pretty cool monster work. And there's a really cool part where she's doing her thing in the further, and she ends up being in the room when the little kid falls off the ladder in Insidious 1.
Oh.
So that's how she knew this stuff was coming, because she accidentally traveled into that.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. That was cool. So like I said, it has its moments, but it's not worth it. And don't buy Loot Crate.
Yeah, probably don't invest in that.
Sorry, I keep looking at that stupid bunny.
Just cover it. Oh, the picture.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm just like, it's just so dumb.
I hate it. What's in its little basket? It's got a little basket of bones and organs. There's this thing up here called Monsterama. It's about a half hour away at a drive-in in Vandergrift. Sorry, I'm changing the subject because I have no idea what I want to watch. But this is cool. You want to hear this. They did a 2-day movie marathon. So you go and like park at the drive-in and you camp there for a night and watch 8 movies. And one of the movies was Sleepaway Camp, and the chick that played the girl from Sleepaway Camp was there, and I couldn't go because I had to fucking work. My friends went, and she got me these Return of the Living Dead sort of like cutaway, like old school Halloween decorations that I'm excited to put up somewhere. But I guess they do one in September too, and they're doing like a classic movie monsters thing in June. So I might go to one of those and do some kind of like half-ass. I'll take my field recorder and see if I can get anything interesting off of people there.
I'm really into that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so our next episode we'll be talking about anything for Jackson and...
I just clicked off and already forgot the title. We Are What We Are.
Professionalism, always.
Yes, doing great.
2 movies about, what? Some people...
Possibly families are the only thing they have in common, but that's okay.
Let's be fair, they have butts.
They do have butts. And I mean, we have had less tenuous pairings before.
If you want to check out our blog, you can find us at hallow-holic.blogspot.com or hallow-holic.wordpress.com.
You can tweet at us at Nowhere23 or by searching Hallow-Holics in the Twitterverse.
You can also email us at hallow-holics@outlook.com quickly before my dog barks again.
Okay, the man says he's going to stub my toe repeatedly if I don't tell you to go to podpedia.org and search our portal, HHA.
Have a good night, guys.
I'm lost again.